episode number 9, each of their decisions really came down to Ryo making some decisions about what his journey as he kind of sunsets into the future is really going to entail. Last week's episode, with episode number 8, was all focused around lineage and Ryo really finding out who he is, where he came from, who he is and what he means to this nation, to where his grandparents currently rule, what his place in that really means, what his place in that really means for the future. Him learning that there's nothing he could do current him right now, just because of what that would mean for the competing nations around their grandparents and what kind of turmoil that would cause for him. So he ultimately left that area and went back to the village where his other grandma rules. Not anything special, but she just, she's a village elder that she rules over. He went back to the village to where his dad originally ascended from, and he kind of made an agreement with his grandparents that, right now what he's doing is he's going to go out for revenge. He's going to go find the person who killed his mom for sure, and probably his parents. And then he's going to kind of figure out what's going to come after him, or after that for him. And his grandparents completely understood, and they also understood that, he definitely wanted to be able to tell his cousin, who's very important to him, about, what that means, and, who he is, and kind of what that means for the future and stuff like that. So I thought that was all really cool and really important. Now, where this episode really focused on is on the decisions that he has to make, was really mostly around him and Sayo, right? So Sayo was the girl who he bought the hairpin for, and she's obviously completely mad in love, head over heels, mad in love with him. And, she spent the majority of the time that she had, which was a year, which is what Ryo gave his grandma, his cousin, and her, of the timeline that he'll be in this village, before he kind of goes off to what's going to essentially be his next part of his journey. And in that year time, he spends it with his family, getting to know them. He spends it with the village, getting to know the village, and solidifying himself as, this is like an extension of his home here. And she spends that duration of the year kind of, working her way, getting her spirit energy up and getting her magic powers up, to not have to be dependent on Ryo if she can travel with him. Eventually it comes out to be a confession. She makes a confession to him, and here's where my anger begins to persist a little bit. Is right now Ryo is fighting between two different souls, right? So you have Ryo and you have Haruto. They're both intersecting souls, but they're really one soul at this point. To where, he has 20 years of lineage, 20 years of memories from Haruto, what he felt, his pain, his love, and everything. And we all know that Haruto was madly in love with this girl that he actually never did anything with. He never did anything with that love. He actually gave up on that love in high school when he saw her probably just with some random dude, and he basically made up this mental image, or kind of this mental picture that he had of who this girl was and what she was doing. And he's been a little sad boy. He's been a poor little sad boy ever since. And he never got to do anything more with those feelings because of the accident that happened and him being beamed over to here. So all those lingering feelings Ryo still holds on to. So when he has moments like this where Sayo came and confessed to him, he tells her that, hey, I can't reciprocate your love. I can't do anything. And she straight up asks him, is it because you're leaving, or is it something else? And he's like, yeah, partially it's because of me leaving. And I hated that part because it's just so frustrating that a 20-year-old man plus what is he now, 15, because he spent a year in this village, right? 15, maybe 16. You guys can correct me in the comments below. I always forget. He was 14. I think he's 15 now. Maybe he's 16 at the most. But he has spent now 7 years. So he's, internally, at least partially of him. He's a 27-year-old man still holding on to lingering feelings for some high school crush he never went out with. He probably never held her hand. And he has somebody saying here that he does care about in some way, shape, or form. And she's telling him, like, hey, I'm in love with you. And he can't reciprocate those feelings. I'm just like, yo, be a man. You know what I mean? Like, if he really doesn't feel that way about her, that's one thing. But if he's doing it because of these lingering feelings that he has for some other girl that, doesn't even, like, at this point in the anime, doesn't even exist in this world, that's silly. And I hate that. I hate that, that tropey anime writing that, you're holding on, like, for feelings. Like, I cannot imagine in any, like, that writing gets to me. I cannot imagine a world to where you have these lingering feelings for, like, a crush, and it just dictates your love life from then on. Like, that's just, I hate that writing. And anime does that all the time, and it just drives me insane. I just had to get that off my chest. Now, what I want to say from that is obviously he turns her down. He ends up leaving the village. She ends up making a deal with the other elder that's right under his grandparents. They rule like one of the competing villages, Goki, whatever. Goki, I think his name is Goki. She ends up making some kind of side deal with him. I don't know if he's going to train her or if he's going to get her prepared or if she's going to end up following him. I don't know what's going to come next, but she definitely made some kind of side deal with him to prove the love that she has for Rio and to kind of, make her wish be fulfilled. So she's not going to give up on her love. She's going to do something on the side to kind of bring that love to the forefront. Cool. And as he ends up leaving, he goes back to the Beast Village. Now I'm gonna stop right there, and I want to chat with you guys a second about where I think the anime is going to go. The one thing is they have been doting and lingering, as well as he has been lingering too much on the girl that was left behind. She wasn't on the bus. I don't know what the hell that happened to that girl. I'm gonna guess that she died in Japan, some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Maybe she was in the back of the bus. Maybe she was in the bus that day. I don't know exactly what happened, but I can tell you right now, and it's gonna make me a little bit angry that I can see it coming, and I hope it doesn't. I'm gonna say I hope it doesn't, but I bet that girl that he's been lingering and boo-hooing about, I bet you that she is in this world. I bet you that she died in Japan or on the bus, one of the or in Japan, on the bus in Japan, but she got reincarnated into this world. She's either one of two things. She's A, the spirit that, is in him, or B, she's another being in this world. But I bet you that that's where the anime is going, because they've hinted at it too damn hard, and he's attached too damn much. If they do that, the anime is gonna go from like being really like a 9 for me, because I love the anime. I think it's freaking ass good. I like Rio as a character too, for the most part. Except for today, he kind of pissed me off a little bit. It's gonna go from like a 9 to like an 8, maybe a little bit less than that, and it's all said and done. Because I think that's just too much for me. You know what I mean? Like let the man like let go. Like have him go on a journey to where he lets go of the things that he was attached to in Japan and realize that he's somebody new. He has Celia or whatever her name. He has her, which she means the world to him, or at least she freaking should, back in the kingdom that he came from. He has now Sayo over here in the village. He has Latifah and the other surrounding girls, but specifically Latifah in the Beast Village, and the other 2 or 3 girls around them too. He has like all of these things, like all these. He can fill his heart. He can feel if his heart's a cup, he can fill it up, and then so he can fill a gallon, with the love around him. Let the man do that. But regardless, that's just my rant for a second. But I hope that's not where they go. I think it is gonna be. And am I still gonna love it? Am I gonna eat it up? Yeah, but I'm just not as much. Let me know what you guys think about that idea down in the comments below. The writing's on the wall for me. I hope again that it doesn't come true. I hope they go a little bit different direction. I hope that he's able to let go. And I hope that that's different. Now, as we move on, and let me touch to the last piece, because I know I'm going a lot of different areas. The next episode is called "The Spirit's Awakening," because he was in a risque situation with his spirit. His spirit awakened, took a physical form. He woke up with her all naked. I'm thinking that that's where this goes. Now, that's all I'm gonna say about next episode. To come back where he left, right? He left back to the Beast Village. He went up and met with Latifah. And I want to see what's going to sprout from there too, because Latifah's a little bit older now. She's maybe like 13. I think she's 2 years younger than him, so I think she's like 13 now. In this world, maybe 12. 12, 13. Let's say she's 12. I don't know. Put it in the comments so you guys know specific. I think she's about 12 now, because I think she was 10 before. He's been on his journey, so I want to say she's probably about 12 now. So he goes, he meets with her, he meets with the girls. They're going to share a bath, and then he comes into his naked situation. Overall, I think this episode is pretty good. I don't think it was spectacular. I think the last episode was better. I think this episode is pretty good. I'm a little bit worried about where we're going, but I'm on the journey with you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. Let me know what you guys think about my takes on this week's episode, and let me know what you guys think about where I think this is going. Obviously, if you guys are light novel readers, I can speak, I promise. If you guys are light novel readers, don't spoil anything. If you want to put some spoils, give a warning, but don't spoil anything. But let me know what you guys think for those who aren't about where it's gonna go. Guys, we'll see you guys next week for episode number 10. If you missed our reaction, it's right here. And hope you guys have a great one. Peace out, everybody.